Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to another of my double reviews. The double review I am doing today is of course Bad Boys 1 and 2 starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. With the new release of Bad Boys for Life that is coming out very soon in January next year, I thought I would revisit Bad Boys 1 and 2 and give you a review for each of them. So I hope you enjoy the reviews. Thanks for watching. And of course the first one is Bad Boys, that was released in 1995 and was something of a box office hit at the time and made stars of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. Now Will Smith was fresh off his TV show Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He'd done a couple of projects before this, but this was really the film that put him on the map. And it focuses on two Miami detectives, Detective Mike Lowry, played by Will Smith, and Detective Marcus Burnett, played by Martin Lawrence. Now Mike Lowry has got plenty of money left to him in a trust fund, and Marcus, played by Martin Lawrence, is a married man with kids. The two very, very different people in a lot of ways, but they are best friends for life, joined the police force together, all that kind of stuff. And they are on the trail of a drug lord who essentially has stole a huge amount of drugs straight from the police stores, if you like. And Tia Leone witnesses these drug lords taking out somebody, so she becomes a material witness. So they've got to try and keep her alive while at the same time hunt down these drugs that have been stolen from the Miami PD. Internal affairs are breathing down everybody's neck, so they've got to move fast to try and track down these drugs and keep the witness alive. Right, so what do I think of Bad Boys? Well, both Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 are directed by Michael Bay, and it is so obvious, especially when you watch the first, well, both of them, but the first one, it's such a 90s film and such a Michael Bay film. I don't think it's aged particularly well, the first Bad Boys. When you watch it, you'll see what I mean. It's a very, very much a film of its time, and I don't think it's particularly aged well. However, that's not to say it's not enjoyable, because my wife has never seen the Bad Boys films, so I watched them recently with her to prepare for these reviews using the box set you can see behind me. And I really, really enjoyed it, the first Bad Boys. It's a long time since I've seen it, and I found it really entertaining, and so did my wife. But very, very much so. It's definitely a 90s film. The action and set pieces are well done, but the thing that keeps this film going and makes it such a special film, I think, is the chemistry between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. It's absolutely top notch. They bicker constantly, even though they are absolute best friends. The back and forth bickering and the banter between the two of them is what makes certainly both films special, and it really, really works in this film. You've got Will Smith's character Mike Lowry, who's a bit of a he's a bit like the Mel Gibson character in Lethal Weapon. He's completely dangerous. He's got this reputation of shooting first, asking questions later. And Will Smith, Martin Lawrence's character Marcus, is the opposite. He thinks witnesses should be questioned, and he's not as quick to fire off his gun, so they're always at odds with each other. Marcus is the one who's a bit grounded, but he's very, very highly strung. And the scene where he has to pretend to be Mike Lowry, that part of the film, in order to convince Tia Leone, the witness, is brilliant. So it's an excellent film. I don't think it's aged particularly well, but it's still a very, very good film. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, the first Bad Boys. Very, very entertaining, very, very watchable, and certainly if you want to remind yourself before the third one comes out in January, give it a watch, because I strongly recommend it, because I enjoyed it very, very much. So coming after the first Bad Boys is of course Bad Boys 2, that was released in 2003, 8 years after the previous one, and it was another box office success. Once again directed by Michael Bay. Obviously we get Will Smith and Martin Lawrence returning, we get other characters returning as well, familiar faces, and this one focuses on Mike and Marcus, who this time are on the trail of a Cuban drug lord. You know, there's a pattern here. Yeah, but they are DEA. Well, they're drug enforcement officers, if you like. Vice. So they're on the track of this Cuban drug lord, and there's like a war between the Cubans and the Russians in Miami. Marcus's sister Sid is involved in this film, who's an undercover police officer with the DEA, played by Gabrielle Union. She gets involved. Marcus doesn't know that she's dating Will Smith character Mike Lowry behind his back, and there's this whole thing going on with Marcus where he's trying to remain calm, he's trying to find this inner peace. He's really against violence in this film, and Will Smith is even more violent in this one, you could argue. And they are really clashing in this film because Marcus is put in for a transfer. He wants to move away from being his partner because he's just too dangerous, and he's got a family to think of, all this kind of stuff. So they are even more at loggerheads in this film for the most part. So what do I think of Bad Boys 2? Well, I have to say I actually enjoyed this more than I expected to. I remember watching it at the time and being a little bit underwhelmed, but after watching it again the other night, and it's a few years since I've seen either of these films, I actually appreciated it more than the first Bad Boys. I don't think it's aged anywhere near as badly. Yes, it's got Michael Bay all over it the way it's filmed, of course it has, but I think what you've got here are two actors who have matured by this time, understand the characters even better. The chemistry between them is even better. It's funnier than the first film, I think. My only major criticism here of this film is I think it goes on too long. The bit at the end where they have to go to Cuba, if you like, to rescue Marcus's sister Sid. It just felt like it went on 20 minutes longer than it needed to, this film. I thought that at the first time I saw it years ago, and I certainly thought that again the other night. But there are some really, really great bits in this film. The bits where they go to the Cubans' mansion pretending to be pest control is fantastic. It's hilarious, especially when the scene with the rats that are having sex is literally, we had to pause it. My wife was laughing that much watching that scene. Very, very funny parts in the film. The bit at the Ku Klux Klan at the beginning, it was just hilarious. The bit where Marcus accidentally takes the ecstasy tablets is hilarious, and the action as well I think is bigger than the first film. The scene on the highway with the driving and stuff is just unbelievably good. So I think all around it's a little bit of a better film than the first one. I think it's aged a bit better. So I'm going to give Bad Boys 2 8.5 out of 10. So yes, that is my review for both Bad Boys films. I hope you enjoyed them. I'm really looking forward to Bad Boys for Life in January. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you, of course, for more reviews next time on Screen Stars. If you've got any ideas for double or triple reviews, pop them in the comments, and if I can get around to doing them, I will certainly do so. Thanks for watching, everybody.